I'm going to tell you a story about the hardest choice I ever had to make. To save my relationship, I had to become the villain in my own love story. I had to break the heart of the woman I loved, intentionally. It sounds like the end, but it was the only way to give us a future. Most people think love is about holding on and never letting go. They're wrong. This is the story of how I won the most important battle of my life by surrendering completely, and it's a lesson every couple needs to hear. Her name was Clara. When she laughed, the whole world seemed to stop and listen. We met in a library, reaching for the same book. A simple, small moment. The kind you don't realize is changing your entire life while it's happening. Our first few years were a blur of moments. Picnics, dancing in the kitchen, reading to each other. We collected memories. A ticket stub from a concert, a stone from a beach. We thought that's what a life was, just collecting good days. We'd see other couples fight or grow apart and we'd think, that won't be us. We were young. We thought our love made us special, invincible. We hadn't learned the real lesson yet, that the strongest love isn't the one that never gets tested. It's the one that breaks and finds a way to grow back stronger. The break came on a Tuesday morning. It arrived in an envelope. It was from an art institute in Florence, a place Clara only ever whispered about. It was her dream, the one she'd had since she was a little girl. A 2-year residency to become the artist she was always meant to be. It was the chance of a lifetime I thought was supposed to be ours. I watched her read that letter, and I saw 2 futures collide in her eyes, the dream and us. What nobody tells you is that you can see a soul breaking if you look close enough. The days after were heavy. We talked about everything except the letter, the weather, the groceries, anything to fill the silence. But the letter was always there, sitting on the mantel. I could feel her trying to talk herself out of it. She started talking about buying a house, planting a garden. She was trying to make her world smaller to keep me in it. She was ready to give up her dream for me, for us. She was willing to make that sacrifice and call it love. And that's when I learned something terrible. Love isn't just about holding someone. Sometimes your arms can become a cage without you even realizing it. I could have let her stay. I could have taken her sacrifice. But it wouldn't have been love. It would have been ownership. The hardest thing I ever did wasn't a single choice. It was 100 small, painful moments that followed. It started one night while we were washing dishes. She was looking out the window. "It's just a piece of paper, Arthur," she said, so quiet I almost didn't hear it. My heart broke. "It's not, Clara," I said. "It's everything. It's who you're supposed to become." "But I want to become that person with you," she pleaded. And that's when I started to lie. I told her I wasn't sure. I said maybe we were moving too fast. I took small, normal problems and made them sound like they were impossible to fix. I had to become the reason she would leave. I had to be the villain so she could have a new beginning. Every cold word I said felt like a wound on my own soul. I had to watch the confusion in her eyes turn to pain, and I had to pretend I didn't see it. The last conversation we had was on a rainy Sunday. She had her bags packed. She stood by the door and whispered, "I don't understand. I thought we were forever." I looked at her, the woman whose happiness was the only thing that ever truly mattered to me, and I said the last thing she ever expected to hear. "Forever is a long time to wonder what if," I said. "I don't want to be your what if. Go, and don't look back." She looked at me just for a moment, searching for the man she thought she knew. I couldn't let her see him. I had to be cold. I had to be empty. And then she nodded, turned, and walked out the door. The sound of it clicking shut was the quietest, most violent sound I have ever heard. I had saved her dream by destroying ours. The loss was instant. The apartment was just an empty space. Her scent faded. Her laugh was gone. For months, I just existed. I had made the choice, but the grief was a physical thing. I had lost her. Then a letter came, from Florence. My hands shook when I opened it. It wasn't an angry letter. It was just her. She wrote about the work, the sunlight, the city. And at the very end, she wrote one sentence that fixed everything that was broken in me. It said, "Thank you for pushing me. I couldn't have gone if you hadn't." And I understood. Our love hadn't ended. It had changed. For 2 years we wrote letters. We lived an ocean apart, but we were closer than we had ever been. We were building a different kind of trust. Not the trust that says, "I know you'll be here when I get home." That's the easy kind. This was the hard kind. The trust that says, "Your happiness is as important as my own. Your journey is as important as ours." Letting her go was the only way to prove my love was bigger than my need. When she came back, she was different. She was whole. The light in her eyes wasn't divided anymore. And when she stepped back into my life, it wasn't a return, it was a new beginning. We had been tested, we had been broken, and we were stronger than ever. So now, when I see young couples, I want to tell them this. You think your love will be measured in the good times. It won't. The true measure of your commitment will be the hard choices. The moments where your partner's soul needs something that your life together can't give them. Trust isn't believing they'll never leave. Trust is having the courage to push them out the door towards their own becoming, believing your bond is strong enough to survive it. You have to love someone enough to set them free, not from you, but for them, to champion their life, even if it means walking a separate path for a while. That is the only love that lasts. So I ask you, think about your life, your love. What is the hardest choice you've made for them? Share it. Your story might be the hope someone else is looking for. Clara and I had 47 more years together after she came back from Florence. 47 years of a real life. She passed away 3 years ago. In her final moments, she held my hand and whispered, "You gave me the world, Arthur." But she was wrong. She was the artist. She had the world inside her the whole time. I just found the courage to open the door. I don't regret the 2 years we lost, because in losing them, we gained a lifetime. And that is a lesson every couple should hear.